Okay, so I got a little behind when I got back, so I realized I hadn't really done my redo of the Joan Rivers. It's not a work in progress. It's Joan Rivers, A Piece of Work, that documentary. Um, I think this one's going to be a little less professional than I've been doing my other ones as well, because usually I get my little tagline. But um, personally, it was an interesting film because, of course, it's one of those first things when you start the film. What you start off remembering, what do you think of Joan Rivers? You think woman with way too much plastic surgery, which is kind of a little ironic because since I recorded that last one, she's been talking on Twitter and there was some random thing she said about Lindsay Lohan and Samantha Ronson made a comment about her collagen, whatever. Just saw that today. But you think a lot of people think of her as a joke. She got her celebrity roast on Comedy Central recently, which everybody kind of made shots at the face, metaphorically, with what they talked about as metaphorically and literally, but not physically. But it was a very interesting thing to go through because, of course, like I said, one of the first things is it answers kind of a little bit more questions about who Joan Rivers is. You could see that in a little biography thing, but biography things or behind the music, behind the person stuff always tends to get somewhat annoying, and it's just like, ugh. Yeah, here's a picture, here's another picture, and here's other random people talking about them. Yes, of course, this is a documentary specifically about Joan Rivers, so it was kind of like that, but it also followed her, I believe, in the year 2009 because of the fact that it ended on Celebrity Apprentice, which she was on, and I double checked my research. It was the end of May 2009, and if they did this for officially a whole year, it probably was 2008 to 2009, which was interesting to see the fact that she had, again, like I mentioned before, she had actually taken the time out she had written about a show, which, from what I saw in the movie, was kind of a one-woman show with extra actors, but how she feels, which of course people can look at things and say, well, of course this documentary is kind of like a woe is me, but it's one of those things to just say, hey, how did someone become the way they are? We always People are always slightly curious about that, especially Joe Rivers has been in the business for over 40 years, and she's at like no way plans on jumping ship anytime soon, apparently, because she makes that basically she's very, very affluent about that during the whole entire thing. Like, I've been in the business for 40 years, and I think at the end she was just like, I've been doing this so long, and I'm gonna make it and do it longer than any other person ever has, which is interesting to see because you'll jokingly hear about how people will whore themselves out to do anything. They actually even talk about the fact of how she's just ready to do anything, and she will not take no immediately for an answer. Um, it's a great documentary if you're really interested in Joan Rivers, possibly just learning a little bit more about her. If you have no idea who Joan Rivers is, it might be interesting. If you just maybe decided to see a movie that you've never thought of before, this would be a nice movie to see. It is in limited release. It was slowly gaining theater adage because it's one of the lower released films. It's not as bad as it's only released in Los Angeles and New York. I believe they have expanded. There's also a Facebook group for Joan Rivers, A Piece of Work, that if you're really, really interested, you can go out and check out. So this is Lynn for B&B Films, and this was my latest review.